Khalifa Ali, fabulous he, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Strength of 10 regular men, take it from me. I love the smell of flame wars in the morning. Merry January, everybody. Now gather round as I tell you about the rise of Islam. Long, long ago, in the year 632, Arabia was unified and everyone was into this hip new religion. And then their prophet died. Alright, no need for alarm, just follow standard Salic protocol, look to his oldest son, none of them made it into adulthood. Right, said the Medinans, we'll just do our own thing. One of Muhammad's close companions, and also father-in-law Abu Bakr, heard about this and stormed into Medina like, oh no you don't, I didn't spend 8 years fighting just so you can break up Arabia. Un roi, une loi, une foi. Hey, that has a nice ring to it. I vote Abu Bakr gets to be in charge of Arabia. Oh no, I didn't mean. All in favor? Aye. And so Abu Bakr became in charge of Arabia. Except by trying to do this to the Muslim world, he ended up doing this. You see, Ali, handsome as he, would have loved to be at this meeting since he stood a good chance of being Muhammad's successor. He wasn't his son, but he was his cousin and his son-in-law. Don't think about it. Plus, he was the first Muslim man and had fought in just about every battle for Islam. Not to mention, Muhammad made a big speech before he died telling everyone how they should consider Ali their Mawla, just like they did Muhammad himself. The meaning of Mawla is, debated. But at the very least, he was telling everyone Ali is a cool dude, if not proclaiming him his successor outright. Unfortunately, while Abu Bakr was handling the Medina problem, which to be fair had to be dealt with promptly, Ali was busy preparing his prophet's body for a funeral, and by the time he was done, it was a little too late to challenge the election. Abu Bakr, understandably worried about leaving a potential rival to his own devices, came to visit Ali, and Ali said, hey man, it's totally cool. You did what you had to do. The last thing I would want is to create a schism within the Muslim faith. Granted, there were various amounts of coercion involved, depending on the source, but the incredible thing about the whole situation is that Abu Bakr let him go, and Ali didn't try anything devious to take power. He just kept compiling the Quran, which, like, who does that? Abu Bakr had a pretty quick reign, declared there was only one correct version of Islam, and apostasy was equivalent to treason in order to prevent tribes from leaving the Caliphate, which would never come back to bite the Middle East. And then he declared his successor would be some guy named Umar. And Ali said, that's fine, I'm not going to cause any strife. Best of luck to you. He ended up becoming a close advisor of Umar, and once he was close enough to the Caliph, he continued doing his job without duplicity. And things continued going smoothly. Umar conquered the entire Sassanid Empire by expanding the concept of jihad and making it okay to war against the non-Muslim world, which would never come back to bite the Middle East. But after doing all that conquering, he was surprisingly tolerant. It's almost like he was using religious doctrine to justify political and military interests. But what's this? Umar has been murdered by a random Sassanid slave. No conspiracy here. Umar doesn't have a successor picked out, but he did create a committee to handle it before he died. It comes down to two people. A wealthy merchant named Uthman, who had served under Muhammad but wasn't like his son-in-law or best friend or anything, and Ali. The committee tells Ali, look, the caliphate's yours, just follow the Quran, Muhammad's example, and keep in line with the precedents of all two caliphs. And Ali looks up at them and says, I will follow the ways of the Quran and the Prophet, but I am my own man, compelled by my own sense of dignity to... Okay, Uthman, it's all yours. That's it! I'm going to wait patiently until you all feel ready to recognize me. Well, Uthman's reign started out strong. Lots of economic advancement, lots of construction, a new navy to pick on the Byzantines with, but then nepotism started to catch up with him. A delegation of Egyptians come knocking at his door saying they want a new governor. Uthman says he'll deal with it, the Egyptians go home, until they intercept a messenger carrying a letter telling the governor to kill them all. Then they storm back and Uthman tells them, whoa, that is not mine. And it wasn't. It was written by his cousin, who was allied with the governor. But then someone shoots one of the delegation leaders. Uthman won't resign, and all Jahannam broke loose. Uthman's beaten to death, the crowd wants a new caliph, and Ali, patient as he, rises to the occasion, just in time to fight a civil war. Ali sets out to get back at Uthman's killers, but he wasn't sure exactly who they were and didn't want to go about killing people all willy-nilly. One of Muhammad's wives thought that's not good enough and raised an army to take matters into her own hands. Seeing someone else's army in his own territory, Ali brings his own army to meet with her, and when their forces converge, they have a nice chat and decide it's for the best not to go to war. But it's not all peaceful negotiations and anticlimaxes. The Egyptian delegation had infiltrated both their armies and started setting fire to each other's camps until a battle broke out. Muhammad's wife was captured, but they talked it out, and she was given a pension to live in Medina and not cause any trouble. But meanwhile, there's another threat to the Caliphate to the west. Ali wanted to nab Uthman's killers, but he also realized they were mad for a reason, so he tried to fire all the governors who were part of Uthman's family, the Umayyads. Except the Umayyads didn't feel like getting fired, so they rallied behind the Syrian governor Muawiyah, who had a few tricks up his sleeve, namely having his army slowly encroach upon Ali's with a Quran attached to their spears so they wouldn't get attacked. So reclaiming the West turned out to be a bust, but meanwhile, there's another threat to the Caliphate in Nahrawan. A group of soldiers had defected from Ali's army after he tried to negotiate with Muawiyah, so they made their own version of Islam where sinners were non-believers and a la Abu Bakr, apostasy is treason, and a la Umar, they declared war against the non-true Muslim world, i.e. the world. It was basically an early form of insert relevant terrorist group here, right down to the suicide attacks. Ali took the town, but the rebels had the last laugh. They wanted to take out Ali and Muawiyah at the same time, but while Muawiyah made it out alive, Ali misfortunately did not. And thus his sons were left to deal with radical terrorists on top of a civil war, embroiled in a conflict that would forever change the Middle East, a conflict that would tear asunder the Muslim faith, a conflict that I ain't got time for. Google it. Well, that took longer than expected, but boy, wasn't that fun. I don't know about you, but I had a great time. Ha 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 ha, don't make me regret this. Oh, and if you could share this video whenever you hear someone arguing about this stuff, that'd be great. I'm hoping to retire soon. Have a nice year.